what's good? How are you? I'm so excited to show you this aura reading and just do this for you in general because I think you're really going to love how it turned out and what exactly came through. And it's really interesting too because if you haven't seen other examples of this on my channel, sometimes when I'm drawing out the aura, it'll come through less of an energy and more of a story. So I'll be picking up pictures within the aura, and that'll give me little hints to kind of put pieces together and be able to connect it to your energy now. And I think it's really important to just remember whatever comes through is something that needed to be brought to your attention. And it's really interesting because with yours, I actually picked up on a past life. And it's so cool and it makes so much sense with your energy now, I feel like. So I'm really excited to get into it. And I also just want to mention how cool it is that this came through because the first time that we talked, you did a whole past life reading for me. And everything made so much sense that you said. So now I'm getting the chance to do that for you. And I'm just so excited. The first thing that came through when I started drawing out your aura was the word spicy. And I just thought of spices, cooking spices. And I was also getting this vibe of a purple flower. And I did some research and it turns out saffron is a spice that is derived from a purple flower, and it was exactly the one that I was picturing, so it's crazy. It says saffron is a spice derived from the flower of Crocus sativus, and in terms of its medicinal properties, it says saffron contains chemicals that might alter mood, kill cancer cells, decrease swelling, and act like antioxidants. But it says it can take 75,000 saffron blossoms to produce a single pound of saffron spice. And it says that it's one of the world's most expensive spices. It says it can help with depression, ADHD. That's one of the spices that came through. But I really thought that for some reason this one was really important to mention. I just get, I don't even know what saffron tastes like or smells like, but it's just, if there was a word for your aura and how it turned out, it's this flower and the spice. And then later on, it totally clicked for me why this was coming through so strongly, because earlier when I mentioned the name of it and the scientific name of it, which is Crocus sativus, and I was like, oh, because that is your stoned epiphany, right? So it really clicked for me because I knew that you were going to resonate with that just vibe in general of medicinal healer and plant medicine and using herbs and spices as natural remedies. And I think that in a past life, you were a natural herb practitioner or medicinal healer. And I have a whole story. You had a family, and I know all about the family and what your role in it was, the place that you were from, their names, their zodiac signs, and how you impacted their life. And I think that past life was coming through because it has really a huge impact on who you are in this life. And so I'm going to get into that. And I'm so excited for this because I've never gotten such a detailed story come through like this. But first, I do want to also point out a few things that came through that aren't necessarily related to the past life, but if you feel like they are resonating for you now, then I feel the need to bring them up. So the letters J, R, and M were coming through. And then the time period of 2016 to 2018, I don't know why, but I feel like you were going through a lot during that time and just kind of trying to figure out what you wanted to do and who you wanted to be and where you wanted to go in life. And I feel like that was really a hard time for you. But I think that you're starting to get a good solid idea, and it might have something to do with this past life now that I think about it, those years, whatever you were doing during that time, whatever shift you were going through, I think that this kind of energy from your past life really started to come to the forefront, which is really cool because I'm going to get into the past life because I'm just so excited about it. It was so specific. So you lived in Southeast Asia, specifically in Laos. You practiced Buddhism. You were a past life medicinal healer, herb practitioner, and you had one son who was older. He had 2 children and a third one on the way. And your son's wife, I believe her name was Leilani, which is such a pretty name. I love that name. Let me see. You lived in a very close community, very small community, like a tribe almost. it was a situation where you guys like all just looked out for each other, but everybody always went to you. Like they knew you as the healer of the tribe. So it was like a small little village. Everyone looked after each other, whether they were blood related or not. It was like a family. It was Laos in Southeast Asia. And your son's name was Dinesh, which means God of the Day. And he was a Leo. And his wife was a Gemini. And their son was a Virgo and their daughter was an Aries. And I believe that you were a Taurus in this lifetime. Let me see. Your son's wife was having issues with her pregnancy, but she asked you for help with the knowledge that you had on natural herbs and plant medicine. And I don't know too much about pregnancy in general, like just my knowledge. So I don't know exactly what was wrong. It wasn't like anything was going to be wrong with the baby, I don't think, but it was more of like something would happen to her if she wasn't able to relax or something. Which that would make so much sense. I feel like you would so do that in this lifetime. Like if somebody was pregnant and they were like freaking out because they couldn't calm down and like they just wanted the pain to go away, I feel like you would be like, here, hit this ball. Oh my God, that's so funny. Can you just imagine in the hospital room? Okay, I'm sorry. I'll get back to it. But like, oh my God, that's so funny. So anyway, she came to you, asked you for help with your knowledge of plant medicine and such, and because of the advice that you offered to her and the remedies that they were able to use and that you provided her, they had a smooth delivery of the baby, and she gave birth to a baby girl, and they named her Arabella. Oh, I love that name so much, which is Latin for answered prayer. And this daughter was a Pisces. So I think that this past life had such a huge impact on your soul, and it really shows. I think this is a lifetime where your soul felt like it had the most power, and that's why it's coming up. And I think like in this lifetime that you might not recognize your power, but you still have all of the abilities and all of the skills and all of the knowledge and wisdom and experience that you had in that lifetime. And I think you just need to harness that power and tap into that energy and know that the wisdom that you have to share is worth sharing, and people will admire you and people will come to you for help, because people already do. But I think that you might have a tendency to doubt yourself or just feel like you aren't getting your message across to enough people. Like you want to share your message and you want to guide people and help other people heal through their journey. And I think in this lifetime, it's a lot harder for you to do that or feel confident in your ability to do that, because in your past life, you knew that like everyone already came to you and you were in this community where it wasn't, you know, like everybody was glued to their phone and looking for whoever for advice, but you were like the one that held everybody together. And you knew that you had power because everyone came to you to solve their problems, and you were very aware of your capabilities. You knew that you were able to offer something to everybody that came to you that was going to help them one way or another. In this lifetime, I feel like you might just really be doubting yourself because of a lack of connection to other people. And this isn't your fault. It's just, it was so much easier for other people to see what you were capable of and see how helpful you could be. And they realized how much they needed you because you were the strong one. You were the brains of the group and the town and the tribe. But because it's so much harder for people to actually see you and for you to reach enough people because of technology and the internet and bullshit, it's a lot harder for you to get your message across and for you to be seen, because in this past life, people didn't have anybody else to go to, and they knew that you were the reliable one. They knew that you were like the person because no one else could do what you could do. I think that right now you're struggling to see how your message and your wisdom is considered like valuable because it's so hard to get your messages across to people. And I think that you have the best intentions and you have so much wisdom to share, and you are smart and you are sweet and you're an incredible person with just so much potential, and you can help a lot of people. But like I said, it was a lot easier for you to see that when other people only knew the people around them, and you were the one that stood out as the leader, basically, the healer. You know, it kind of reminds me of, and I don't really remember much of this movie, but I really do feel like this movie in general just fits your vibe, which is hard to explain. But Moana, I think of the grandmother, like that's kind of how I picture your energy. Like just so much wisdom. Oh yeah, and then she became a stingray. Yeah. Oh my God, yes. Because the grandma had so much knowledge to offer. Even after transcending and going to a different form and a new life, she was still conscious of what power she had, and she followed Moana and was there for her and protected her. And I think that that's exactly like how you want to be in life. But I think that there's just this power within you that you haven't, like, it's easy to lose track of that and forget about our past lives because there's so much influence on us directly in this current life. We are constantly being put in a position where we aren't allowed to express ourselves, right? Or it's a lot harder to express ourselves in a way that is going to impact the lives of other people, because it's so easy these days for anybody to get the wrong message across. And so many people are like getting famous because they said something stupid, or they said something dumb or wrong, or like just shared false information, or they did it with enough video editing where it's like 10 seconds of information, because people are wired now to have the shortest attention span. And it's like, that's not enough time. Nobody is learning anything from that. And you want to take the time to actually get your message across to people. And I respect the hell out of that, because I'm the same way. I'm like, if I don't have people like sitting and listening to what I have to say because it's important, and they're just watching it because it's easy to watch because it's 10 seconds long and I'm shouting and using all these effects and all this, and I don't want those people to listen to my message because they're not going to get it. I want people who truly want to hear what I have to say, because what I have to say and what you have to say isn't going to get anybody anywhere if it's said in 10 seconds. And like I said, you always have the best intentions, and you're real and you're raw, and you're not trying to sugarcoat anything. You don't care necessarily about like the views that you're getting. You care about impacting the people that are there watching your videos and your channel. Like when I first met you in that first live stream, like I want to cry thinking about it because it meant so much to me, and you didn't even know me. I don't want to get emotional, but this happens all the time, so bear with me. I just remember like I could talk to you like I had known you for years. And it's so rare to come across an energy like that, where you actually just connect right away. And I just know that you have the ability to impact so many people's lives, and I just want so badly for you to remember how influential you are and can be, and forget about any self-doubt and be confident in the messages that you're giving to people. And also never, ever, ever doubt your capabilities of being a mother. I don't care what you're going through, any hardships, any financial trouble. I know that you carry this light in your soul from every life that you live, and it is a strong instinct to protect and to nurture and to heal. And you are an amazing person, an amazing mom, an amazing friend, and you have so much strength. You never have to feel like you're not good enough, or the things that you want to share with people, like they're not good enough, just because it's a lot harder for you to get that message across to people. But it's not that you're not getting your message across to people, it's that your message is getting to the people that it needs to get to at this point in time. And it's really important to just keep that in mind, because I would rather have 4 people who remember me as someone who really took the time to understand their story and to provide good advice and to make them feel heard for once. I would rather talk to those 4 people and get my message across to them compared to 1,000 people that just like are willing to pay like $20 for a general reading, but they don't actually care. It's the fact that like people have money and can pay for dumb questions. I'm not saying like all general readings are dumb, but like it's the intention behind asking the question. Like there's people who genuinely want to hear what you have to say and can't afford it. And I'm not saying like change your prices or anything, but like the people who are like committed to always being in your live streams, what's good, y'all, if you're listening? But those are the real ones, and they'll sit there and they'll listen to every reading that you do for people for free. And then there's other people that just have money to throw away and they don't actually care about whatever you're going to tell them. Like they'll ask you a question like, should I do this? And then you'll give them an answer. They probably don't listen to that. They probably don't even remember that when they're making the decision. And it's so frustrating. You know, like if you're not doing anything with what I'm telling you, then what are you doing? You're not here to gain anything from this, obviously. So I feel like you know exactly like who has that intention of just having money to throw away and just using up your streaming time as a time filler. I know that you can read their energy, and I know that like you hate doing that. I see this almost like this rage being pushed down so far every time you want to like get mad or get frustrated or something, or impatient or irritated. I feel like there's just so much pressure being pushed down within you. And maybe that's because you feel like you have to accommodate to every single person who comes onto your live streams and wants a reading, because you feel like with your channel being a smaller channel, like that's just what you have to do for now, is like put up with everybody and just stay calm and stay nice and roll a joint or something. Take a hit real quick, breathe, and just put up with people's bullshit. And I think that that can also cloud kind of the messages that come through, because I just think that there's a major blockage in both your solar plexus chakra as well as your throat chakra, because in your aura you see very little yellow and no blue whatsoever. And when I see this, I definitely feel like it has something to do with how in balance or out of balance your chakras are. And it definitely makes sense looking at yours, because the solar plexus chakra is our sense of power or our inner strength. And when you feel like you're out of control, that's when that throws this chakra out of balance, when it's not in the right vibration. And when we feel like we don't have the right to speak our truth, to make our own decisions, to stand up for ourselves, or to just be ourselves, that's when there will be blockages in this chakra. And it definitely makes sense to me looking at yours, because there's a very slight amount of yellow, right? But it's at the core of your aura. It's just a little bit dimmed, and it's not as bright as I know that it can be. So I think that when you repress a lot of your fire, because this is represented by the element of fire, this chakra, I think when you repress that in order to appease people that aren't taking you seriously, I feel like that really makes it a lot harder for you to feel authentic. And so it gets harder for you to see the impact that you're having on people, because it's coming from a place sometimes, not saying this is all the time, but I think that what you do and the messages that you give, you have so much passion for this and for helping people, but when it's harder to see how you're helping people, then you don't feel that like passion for it anymore. You just feel like you're just kind of going through the motions and putting like the messages on the screen and letting people know, like, who are in the live stream, like, put your question down. And you might feel like you're not speaking from an authentic place, and that ties into the complete lack of blue in your aura, because I think that there's definitely a blockage in your throat chakra right now. And it can be hard for you to actually share your message, because you don't know if it's worth sharing, or if that's not the case, you don't feel like the people who you're sharing it with are worth sharing it with. And again, just to clarify, I know I probably don't need to clarify, but I just mean like there's some people, and it's definitely a huge thing nowadays because it's so easy for people to just join any live and ask for a message. And so there's a lot of people with, you know, no intention of actually gaining anything from asking you questions. And I know that you feel that energy. And it's so hard with social media to feel like you can be authentic. And especially when you have like a spiritual business, it's hard to stay in that spiritual mindset and rely on it for financial gain, right? Especially when you're a smaller spiritual business, it's hard because you want to help people, but to help people, you need to be like blunt and honest. And like in your past life, people were ready for like the brutally honest truth because that's all they had. They didn't have a choice to, you know, just get on their phone and ignore all their problems and just act like it's not there, like they don't see the problem. They were like, this is a problem that I'm dealing with, and you are the person that I know who to go to for help. But now it's so much easier to just, you know, expect everybody to distract you. And so when you try to bring an honest message to somebody, especially if they pay you, it might be really hard for you to speak truthfully and to give them what your honest like advice is in a brutally honest way. Like obviously, yes, being brutally honest is going to help them. You and I both know that. And we can handle it when people give it to us, but it's very easy to just like start to sugarcoat a little bit. Like even if it's like their whole message is bad, but you just want to finish off with something like a little positive, just because like they gave you a payment. And you don't want to hurt them. You don't want to make them feel like they just wasted their money, but really they are wasting their money if they're giving money to somebody and asking a question that they don't want the answer to. That's a waste of money. That's a waste of energy. That's a waste of everyone's time. And it's disrespectful. And I think that you are such a badass. You are so cool. You are so strong. You are so talented and so smart. So smart. And you're such a good person. And you have the best intentions. And I just think that there's so much like passion and like expression being pushed down into your core because you don't want it to offend anybody. But you know what? The people that need to be offended, the people that get offended need to be offended. They need some hard truth in their life. And that's okay. If they want to complain, let them complain. Because one day they're going to realize that you were right. And if they didn't want that message, they shouldn't have asked, and they should be spending their time elsewhere. Because you should never let anybody just treat you like a time filler. You are one of my favorite people. And I care about the messages that you share. And a lot of people that come to your live streams, they really care about everything that you say. And they support you. And they wait their turn for their reading. And basically, I can reword this 1,000 different ways, but don't ever sell yourself short. And don't ever wait for other people to prove that your message had an impact on them to feel like the message that you're giving out is good enough. You are impacting people on a daily basis in very positive ways. And you are a healer, and you're meant to heal, and you're meant to guide, and you're meant to be a mother, and an amazing mother. And you are just so down to earth and so accepting of everybody and their situation, and you're such a good friend. I could go on and on and on, but literally, I just want you to know that you are worth so much. And I just think that, you know, I really want you to feel comfortable expressing your opinions and your thoughts and your viewpoint. And I know that it's really fucking hard to do that without triggering anybody, because everyone's gonna get triggered. But you gotta just let them, and don't ever worry about, you know, what messages are coming through and how it's gonna like impact them. If it's coming through, it's coming through. Whether they get upset by that answer, that's on them. That's the information they asked for. And if they want to keep running from the problem by getting upset that you gave them the answer that they didn't want to hear, they can do that. Go waste their own time somewhere else. But you deserve to feel comfortable being authentic, and I love you so much. I hope you know that. And I care about you, and I love your channel, and I'm rooting for your channel. And you've been so helpful. I don't want to cry. I'm such a baby. I just get so emotional. I have a Scorpio moon, that's probably why. But you have been such a rock for me. And you've really inspired me to continue on with my spiritual business. And you helped me to feel like I can be my authentic self. And I'm just going to finish off by saying, don't stop doing what you're doing, and know that you have so much power in this lifetime, and you're going to carry that power with you through every lifetime that you live. Also, I saw 444 on the clock a second ago. It's literally 4 a.m. and I'm recording this. But I also had the thought of, when I mentioned in the very beginning, like spice and spiciness and like spices for healing, it made me think about how you are, in a sense, stimulating to people. Like when you give them information and new knowledge and a new perspective, it's like when you eat something spicy and you're like, oh man. Like that's a wake-up call and a half. But you also, like in the past life, I was saying, like you used spices to heal other people. You knew how to do that in a way that was beneficial to them. And yeah, maybe a lot of people don't like spicy food, and you're gonna give the remedy to a lot of people that hate spicy food. But hey, if it's gonna help them, it's gonna help them, and they can spit it out or they can swallow it. And I think that's where I'm gonna leave this off, because that was poetic. Trademark that. But anyway, I hope that you really enjoyed this reading, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm sorry that it got to you kind of late. I just really wanted to make sure that like I did it justice, because you are an important person in my life, and I just wanted you to really get a good idea of how amazing your energy is. And I didn't mean for this to turn into like a sit down, we gotta talk kind of talk, but like I'm not like getting on to you about anything. I want you so bad to know how important you are and how influential you are as a person, because your past life came through so strong, and I know that you're still carrying all of that wisdom from that past life with you into this one, and it'll be in the next one, and the next one, and the next one. You're important, and I know that it's just really hard to find clarity in this world of absolute freaking chaos. But you're gonna go far, and you're a badass, like I said, and I hope that you liked this reading, and I hope that you like how your aura turned out. I think it's really cool and definitely tells a story, and I just love your energy, and yeah, and I hope that you have a night as beautiful as you, and just thank you for everything that you do. From myself and on behalf of everybody that watches your channel, thank you, and don't ever stop, because we love you. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye, babe.